Chapter 1191. It's true that Huamin has never raced before. The Department of Transportation doesn't even have a record of her breaking the rules. At most she'll run a few red lights. Look at the video that they sent over. Her driving skills are average and she doesn't have much skill. Song Yisha read some information that one of her acquaintances sent over. The sisters wanted to study Huamian thoroughly. Know yourself and know your enemy and you'll win every battle. Then that's easy. Just wait and see, I'll make sure she dies a horrible death, Song Yishuan said viciously. Then she rolled down the window and gestured. Huamin rolled down the window as well. Let's compare our watches. Mine is 6:58 p.m. Huamin nodded. Once it's 7 o'clock p.m. we'll start. Whoever gets to the sign at the foot of the mountain first wins. Okay. Huamin continued to nod. If someone surrenders, breaks down or gets into an accident, the other party won't be responsible for it. Sure. To be fair, we both have to record a short video. Song Yishuan's request was actually made by Song Yisher. She was afraid that if something happened to Huamin she would be implicated, so she came up with this idea. Is it really that troublesome? Huamin was a little helpless. Of course it's necessary. If something happens to you, do you want us to be responsible? Haha, you're right. If something happens to you guys, then I'll be implicated as well. That's a good idea. Huamin nodded and took out his phone. Both parties had to sign a letter of guarantee to ensure that nothing would go wrong. Oh no, it's too late. Let's start at 7:03 p.m., Song Yishuan said. Huamin nodded again, indicating that he had no objections. Then the two of them rolled up their windows. They quietly looked at their watches. As soon as it was 7:03, the two cars rushed over at high speed. Because they were both luxury cars that cost more than 1,000,000 yuan, their starting speed was quite impressive. It was Huamin's first time running the Akina mountain track, so he was at a disadvantage because he didn't know the terrain well. Song Yishuan, on the other hand, had an advantage. Every year when she returned to China, she would come here to play with her friends. Therefore they were very familiar with each other. In this way, after running for less than 5 minutes, the distance between them had widened. Huamin was left in the dust by a good 5 meters. The mountain road was very winding. On one side was a steep mountain wall and on the other side was a very high cliff. Usually, drivers would be very careful on such roads. And these two women were really drunk to be racing on such a mountain road. Song Yishuan did have 2 boys and they were good at driving. However, Song Yisher, who was sitting in the passenger seat, was scared witless. Xian, slow down. Sis, don't be silly. If I drive slower and that Hu guy catches up with me, won't I lose? Song Yishuan obviously didn't listen to Song Yisher and continued. Occasionally she would drift, and it was a very exciting scene. Huamin wasn't in a hurry because he knew that this road was very bad. The fastest they could finish was 12 minutes. It had only been 5 minutes, so there was no need to rush. As the saying goes, the one who laughs last laughs best. Therefore she didn't work on her speed from the start. Even though she was left behind, she wasn't in a hurry. She just drove steadily. Song Yishuan looked in the rearview mirror and smiled proudly. Sis, to be honest, we're definitely going to win this time. It's hard to say. There's still time. Song Yisher didn't dare to let down her guard. Don't worry, watch me, Song Yishuan said as she continued to speed up, as if she wanted to widen the distance between her and Huamin. Chapter 1192. First, she observed Song Yishuan's strategy. Her strategy was simple, she just drifted and raced. When she made a turn, she drifted so much that the tires squeaked. After a while, Huamin realized that although the mountain road was steep, it was very regular. Every minute or so there would be a big turn. Therefore, as long as she made a perfect turn, she would be able to catch up to Song Yishuan in a matter of minutes. Then Huamin stepped on the gas pedal. Her beloved Audi sped out, extremely nimble. She counted in her heart for 60 seconds and then made a beautiful turn. It wasn't a drift, but a very natural turn. It was even more perfect than Song Yishuan's showy maneuver. Just like that, after 3 minutes and 3 turns, Huamin caught up. When they caught up, Huamin stepped on the gas pedal again, and the car sped forward like it was flying. Song Yishuan was suddenly thrown more than 3 meters away by Huamin. What the? No way. That woman is so fast, she caught up so quickly. No way, this doesn't make sense. Song Yishuan was dumbfounded. Don't underestimate her, she's very smart, I think she found a trick. Song Yisher said with hostility as she tightly held onto her seatbelt. It's okay, even so, I have a way to deal with her. Then Song Yishuan sped up and followed closely behind Huamin's car. Then with a bang, she crashed into the back of Huamin's car. Huamin's car jerked forward. Xian, we all have driving cameras now, why are you doing this? Song Yishu's eyes widened. She always thought that she was cruel, but she didn't expect her cousin to be even more cruel. She couldn't beat Song Yishuan, so she crashed into the back of Song Yishuan's car. At this speed, the car in front of Song Yishuan could easily flip over if they collided. I already said that you don't know anything about cars. When the time comes, I'll smash the dashcam and no one will know. Besides, we all have our own recordings in our phones. Didn't you say that the competition is voluntary? What does her accident have to do with me? Besides, even if someone really did find us, do you think my father and your father's power isn't enough to deal with it? You're making a fuss over nothing. Song Yishuan was used to being bossy since she was young, so she didn't think that this was a problem. Huamin was in a bad mood after she bumped into him. How dare this woman play dirty with me? Huamin gritted his teeth and cursed. Huamin should have known that they would be so despicable. He steeled his heart and continued to speed up. Song Yishuan followed closely behind her and refused to let up. It seemed like she wanted to continue bumping into her. And Huamin would not give her the chance. With such a fast speed, if she bumped into him when he turned a corner, he would fall off the cliff. That would cost him his life. Therefore Huamin was still moving left and right as he accelerated. His reaction was extremely fast. Song Yishuan wanted to bump into him, but she didn't have the chance to do so. Song Yishuan gripped the steering wheel tightly. Not bad, that woman is very smart. She used this trick to avoid me, huh? I told you she wasn't easy to deal with. You're too reckless. Yishuan. Song Yishu sounded like she was complaining. Don't worry, I've been racing for so many years. I won't lose to a newbie. Cousin, hold on tight. I'm going to give her a fatal blow. Then Song Yishuan began to make a sharp turn and drift. Song Yishu was so scared that she covered her eyes with her hands and didn't dare to look. She actually regretted it. She wanted her cousin to bully Huamin, but she didn't think that she would be dragged into this. The person sitting in the front passenger seat was basically putting her life in someone else's hands. This wasn't racing, this was risking her life. Chapter 1193. The wheels squealed again, and several times Song Yishu felt like the car was going to fall off the cliff. In the end, she was so scared that she closed her eyes. After a few more tries, Song Yishuan finally caught up to Huamin. Huamin, on the other hand, was pushed to the outside by her dirty tricks while she was on the inside. One was on the inside while the other was on the outside. Obviously, the person on the outside was at a disadvantage. At this moment, Song Yishuan smiled sinisterly. Then she suddenly turned the steering wheel and headed towards Huamin's direction. Her goal was obvious. She wanted to knock Huamin off the edge of the cliff. The road was so narrow, and she had no doubt used all of her strength to force the car open. Xian. Song Yishu saw through her intentions and was so scared that her face turned pale. If she really knocked Huamin off the cliff and died, the two sisters would be indirectly murdered. Song Yishuan's car was about to crash into Huamin's R8. Huamin suddenly slammed on the brakes. The brakes of $1 million luxury car were extremely flexible. She slammed on the brakes and the car suddenly stopped. However, Song Yishuan's car was still running. Therefore, when she crashed into Huamin, she was faster than him and fell off the cliff. Ah! Two deafening screams were heard. They came from Song Yishuan's BMW X5. Song Yishuan originally wanted to kill Huamin, but she failed and fell off the cliff. She deserved it. After Huamin stopped the car, he immediately opened the door and got out. He looked around and realized that the cliff wasn't very high. The most dangerous part was over and there was a 3-meter deep ditch below. The trees were dense, so the BMW X5 fell off the cliff and into the ditch. There were even tree trunks around it. It wasn't a big problem. After hesitating for 5 seconds, Huamin took out his phone and called 120. 20 minutes later, the 120 came and carried the injured Song sisters away. Damn it, the 110 came as well. Song Yishu, who was stuck in the car, was scared and called many times for help. She never thought that Huamin would call for help. The funniest part was that when she called 110, she purposely said that her car was hit and that Huamin wanted to murder her. After her explanation, Huamin couldn't clear his name. Therefore he was brought back to the municipal bureau. Why are you here again? In the municipal bureau station, Gao ran and looked at Huamin, speechless. He couldn't even remember how many times Huamian had been sent to the Municipal Public Security Bureau. What was Huamin? Huamin S's. What's going on? Why are you here this time? Gao Ran just came back from a case, so he didn't know that Huamin was racing with the Song sisters. Racing? Huamin calmly answered. Ft. Gao Ran spat out a mouthful of tea. Luckily Huamin reacted quickly. He lowered his head and the tea splashed onto the face of the young policeman behind him. Captain Gao, you don't have any more tea, right? I'll get you some more. Not only was the young policeman not angry, he even tried to suck up to Gao Ran and poured more tea for him. This made it easier for the two of them to talk. Racing? Are you okay? When did you start racing? Does Mr. Qin know? Huamin shook his head. If he knew, he would kill you for sure. Kill you is the right thing to do. If Zhu Lingling did that, I would kill her too. Don't you know that racing is risking your life? Gao Ran was speechless. Qin Chu was worried sick that he had such a troublesome wife like Huamin. I was also provoked. Anyways, it's not my fault, Huamin said confidently. Really? If it's not your fault, then fine. I'll call Mr. Qin right now and ask him to bail you out. Then Gao Ran took out his phone and pretended to make a call. Chapter 1194. Hey Gao Ran, let's talk this out. Huamin immediately grabbed Gao Ran's hand. She had made up her mind that there was no way she would let Qin Chu bail her out. She would rather be detained for 24 hours. Can't we talk this out? This is a big deal, Qin Chu has to know about it. But I can't let him bail me out now. I'll just buy some time. Huamin had made up her mind not to let Qin Chu bail her out. Every time Qin Chu bailed her out, he would beat her up for half a day. That atmosphere was truly terrifying. But, no buts. Anyways, if you dare to call Qin Chu, I'll tell Lingling that I saw you having dinner with Lin Xuejiao. Fuck? Is that even possible? Gao Ran was speechless. If you don't believe me, you can try. Let's see who she believes. Huamin smirked. Even if Huamin framed her, Zhu Lingling would definitely believe it. The problem was the two sisters were very close. Gao Ran thought about the pros and cons and decided that he couldn't take the risk of calling Qin Chu. So here was the problem. You're in such a serious situation this time. If Qin Chu doesn't bail you out, who are you going to bail you out? Me? Gao Ran asked in all seriousness. The truth was, as a member of the Municipal Public Security Bureau, especially the captain, he wasn't allowed to bail people out. To avoid suspicion, Gao Ran never bailed people out. However, if Huamin wanted to, he could make an exception. Can I ask Lingling to bail me out? Huamin asked. She's on the plane. Gao Ran replied. I'll call Xiaowei. 20 minutes later, Jiang Xiaowei arrived at the Municipal Public Security Bureau in a Mercedes-Benz RV. Ever since she got pregnant, she basically drove a Mercedes-Benz every time she went out because she was afraid that she would be too tired. Therefore, the Wei family hired a very good chauffeur. Girl, I'm here. Jiang Xiaowei walked in with a branded handbag. She was wearing a long black cotton coat, so her belly was not that obvious. Slightly. Thank you for your hard work. Huamin gave Jiang Xiaowei an affectionate hug. Shoo. Why are you being so courteous with me? Seriously. Then Jiang Xiaowei looked at Gao Ran. Sergeant Gao, am I qualified? Bail me on out. Dr. Jiang, this way please. Gao Ran didn't know whether to laugh or cry. One Huamin was enough of a headache and now there was another Jiang Xiaowei. Seriously. If he didn't let her go, the two of them would probably overturn the city police station. Before leaving, Huamin suddenly asked, any news from the hospital? How are the Song sisters? Apparently, Song Yishuan's injuries are superficial, but Song Yisher's injuries are more serious. Apparently her nose is caved in. She needs plastic surgery because she was sitting in the passenger seat. Huamin didn't know what to say. She wasn't the type to gloat over other people's misfortunes. He didn't sympathize with Song Yisher because no one could sympathize with someone like her. Anyone with common sense would know that the moment a car accident happened, the driver would instinctively protect himself. Therefore, the unlucky ones were usually the ones sitting in the passenger seat. It seemed like Song Yisher was seriously injured this time. Then what do they want? Are they still going to sue me? Huamin thought that if the Song sisters continued to make unreasonable accusations against her, then she was going to release the video to the public. It was the video that was recorded before the race. This was originally a video that Song Yishuan saved to hurt Huamin, but now it became the evidence that Huamin used to clear her name. Needless to say, it was very good. No, the Song family probably didn't want to make a big deal out of it, so they withdrew the lawsuit. They'll pay for the medical expenses themselves. That's right. Those two bitches went for wool and came home shorn. They wanted to hurt Mian, but they got the short end of the stick. I only want to say 7 words. Jiang Shaowei said, feeling better. What 7 words? Gao Ran looked confused. Chapter 1195. Serves you right, you're so unlucky. Gao Ran, Huamin, that's a good point. Let's go, Mrs. Qin, treat me to a big meal. Then Jiang Shaowei put her arm around Huamin's shoulder and the two of them walked out of the Municipal Public Security Bureau intimately. Because Huamin's car was damaged, he had to be towed to a 4S store. They got into Shaowei's Mercedes-Benz. Shaowei, what do you want to eat? How about a roasted lamb leg? Jiang Shaowei asked with a smile. That's exactly what I wanted. I've been preparing for a few days now. If Mr. Qin wasn't so busy, we would have gone already. Let's go for lamb leg, let's go. Then the chauffeur drove them to a big Mongolian hotel in the city center. It was called the Grassland Family. The hotel was in the shape of a yurt. It was beautiful and luxurious. The owner was a Mongolian, a fierce Mongolian man. The sheep were all from the grassland and business was booming. The two of them went straight into a luxurious yurt. They ordered a 4-pound roasted lamb leg as well as many side dishes and meat skewers. Wouldn't it be a waste if it's just the two of us? How about we call our family members? Jiang Shaowei suggested. You call your family, I'll pass ha. I'm still in shock after such a big accident. I'm scared that if Mr. Qin finds out, I'll be dead meat. Okay, I'll call Wei Liao to come. No problem, you two can eat as much as you want, it's my treat, Huamin said with a lofty look on his face. Jiang Shaowei immediately took out her phone and called Wei Liao. She didn't say that Huamin was treating, she just said that she was having roasted lamb leg. Wei Liao, Su Yu and Tang Chuan were playing billiards and hadn't eaten yet. When they heard that Huamian had ordered a roasted lamb leg, they were all shocked. When they heard that Huamian had roasted lamb leg, the three of them were very interested. Hence, the three of them drove to the hotel in 3 sports cars that attracted a lot of attention. When they entered the yurt, Su Yu saw that Huamin was there. Oh, Dr. Hua, you're here too? Tang Chuan had always loved to joke around, so when he saw Huamin, he immediately put on a cheeky smile. Yeah, so be careful with your words. You might be in danger of being exposed. Huamin replied humorously. Slightly, you didn't say Mian was here, huh? Wei Liao was a bit embarrassed. You're blaming me? You didn't say that all 3 of you would come. Jiang Shaowei was also dumbfounded. This couple is amazing, it's fine. It's good that you're here. Let's eat together. Huamin tried to smooth things over. Oh yeah, it's Mian's treat today. Eat whatever you want. Thank you, Dr. Hua, then I won't hold back. Let's start with a bottle of the most expensive wine. Tang Chuan was the one who shouted. Huamin was immediately speechless. You're a professional scammer. Su Yu slapped the back of Tang Chuan's neck. Tang Chuan grimaced. It's fine. If we exceed our budget, we have you, the super rich guy, right? We have nothing to be afraid of. Tang Chuan made up his mind. If Su Yu was here, then no one else would have to pay the bill. This was the benefit of having a super rich friend. What's so good that you're treating us to dinner? Wei Liao was smarter, so he looked at Huamin and asked a key question. I was detained by the police and then your family slightly bailed me out. Is that a good thing? Huamin smiled. Wei Liao, Tang Chuan, Su Yu was the first to react. He looked at Huamin worriedly and asked, why did you go in? Did you get into a fight again? Note that Su Yu used the word again. It seemed like Huamin had become an indelible tomboy in Su Yu's heart. Chapter 1196. Drag Racing. Huamin whispered, feeling a little guilty. Tang Chuan was holding a teacup and drinking the yurt's specialty milk tea. He almost spat it out. Oh my god, drag racing. Tang Chuan yelled in shock. Wei Liao, Su Yu, it's true, I can testify. Jiang Shaowei immediately raised her hand to testify when she saw how shocked everyone was. Drag racing alone isn't enough to detain you. At most you'll be fined. Lord Su was the most knowledgeable. Huamin lowered his head even more. I was drag racing with Song Yishuan. Song Yishuan, the precious daughter of the director of the Land Bureau? Tang Chuan asked. Huamin nodded. Song Yisher was sitting in the front passenger seat. Huamin continued. We're not going to race, we're going to get revenge, right? Wei Liao interrupted. Su Yu, on the other hand, was very calm. However, Huamin's last sentence almost made Su Yu jump. She said, then we had a race at the Akina Mountain racetrack. Tang Chuan, Akina Mountain? Road of Death. Wei Liao, heroine, I admire you immensely. Do you want to die? Su Yu stared at Huamin and yelled angrily. He hadn't gotten angry at Huamin for a long time. Jiang Xiaowei couldn't stay calm when she saw Su Yu's expression. What's going on? What's wrong with the Akina Mountain racetrack? Why do all of you have such weird expressions? Jiang Xiaowei didn't like to study racing, so she didn't know what kind of racetrack Akina Mountain racetrack was. When she went to bail him out, she only knew that Huamin and the Song sisters raced, but she didn't ask for details. Before anyone else could speak, Wei Liao explained, the Akina Mountain racetrack is known as the Road of Death for racers. It's one of the 3 most difficult racetracks in China. The terrain is extremely complicated with lots of turns and steep cliffs, so a lot of people get into accidents while racing. Every year, a lot of people die. That racetrack has been banned by official racetracks for years. Only those who like to race cars would go there, but if you're not good, you can't win, you can't finish. Of course, we didn't go there once 5 years. It's not only was it rain, we almost flipped it, it's also cliffs and cliffs. But if yours not, it, of course. After Wei Liao finished speaking, Jiang Xiaowei fell silent. What kind of race did Huamin and the Song sisters just go through? Seeing that Huamin didn't say anything, Su Yu asked with a cold expression, You think you're a good driver? No, Huamin replied. Then you think you're lucky? Not really, just one, Huamin continued to answer honestly. Then you think it's exciting? Oh, it's not. My heart almost stopped. Huamin continued to answer questions. So, the result of your race with the Song sisters was? Song Yishuan bumped into me when she was turning a corner. Then I slammed on the brakes and the 2 of them flipped over. Then I called 120. Huamin confessed everything like a criminal. Tang Chuan and Wei Liao worshipped her like she was a god. Goddess Hua, please accept a bow from your little brother. Tang Chuan put his hands together and laughed. She was really fast when she was turning. You shouldn't have been able to react in time when she suddenly bumped into you. How did you stop in time? That's amazing. How did you do it? Wei Liao was a very meticulous person and he always paid attention to details. Chapter 1197. I actually didn't react in time. I guessed that she would hit me at this point, so I was prepared to step on the brakes. But how did you know she was going to hit you here? Wei Liao looked surprised. Because we were parallel and it was also the last big turn of the track. If she didn't hit me at that point, she probably wouldn't have had a chance. But it's not like the Song sisters to not use some tricks, so Huamin didn't finish his sentence, but everyone knew what he wanted to say. Mian, didn't you say that you weren't familiar with that track? How did you know it was the last big turn? Jiang Xiaowei asked carefully. I really wasn't familiar with it, I just memorized it when I was driving up the mountain. Wei Liao, Tang Chuan, Jiang Xiaowei, Huamin memorized all the turns of the Akina Mountain racetrack and even knew which one was the biggest one? This abnormal memory. Was it really that heaven-defying? So you think you're awesome and proud? Su Yu's face was as dark as it could get. Even Wei Liao and Tang Chuan hadn't seen Su Yu this angry in a long time. It was like the sign of a storm. Oh, I'm proud, I just feel good because I won the bet, Huamin answered in a small voice. You still had a bet? What bet? Tell us. Tang Chuan loved to gossip, so he immediately started asking questions. Didn't Song Yishuan rear-end my car on the highway? She said that if I dared to race with her, she would pay me the full price of my Audi R8. It was like buying a new one. You raced for a $1 million car? Is your life that worthless? Su Yu roared angrily. This was also the reason why he was the most angry. He was really scared. Fortunately, it was the Song sisters who were in trouble. What if something happened to Huamin? What was he supposed to do? 1 million is just a small matter. The important thing is that if I win, they promised me that whenever I appear in public in the future, they'll make way for me. You know, I really don't like Song Yisher and I also hate her cousin whom I met for the first time this year. So I think I can give it a try. Huamin said calmly, but what if you lose? Wei Liao was a little scared. I won't lose, Huamin said proudly. His Tsundra index had surpassed Qin Chu's. But I heard that Song Yishuan really started out as a racer. You sure have guts. You're a newbie, yet you chose to race against an experienced racer at a place like Akina Mountain. For God. Other than you, I'll never respect anyone else in my life. Tang Chuan gave Huamin a thumbs up. This time he wasn't teasing him. He truly admired Huamin. Brains and driving skills were only a part of it. What he admired the most was Huamin's courage. Normally, girls would tremble at the sight of roads like Akina Mountain. They wouldn't even dare to drive normally, let alone race. Does Qin Chu know what you're doing? Suyu asked coldly. No, I don't want him to know. He'll skin me alive. Huamin bit down on her lips, looking dazed. Good, then I'll call Qin Chu right now. Suyu was infuriated. He stood up and took out his phone to call Qin Chu. He didn't have the right to discipline Huamin, but Qin Chu did. Chapter 1198. With Huamin's impudent personality, it was impossible for him not to teach it a lesson. Don't call me, let's talk nicely. Mr. Warrior. Huamin snatched Suyu's phone away. She looked like a little girl. Suyu didn't know whether to laugh or cry. You're scared? What were you thinking when you were racing? Are you out of your mind? Suyu cursed angrily. I just wanted to torture the Song sisters. Is it worth it for those two pieces of trash? Suyu asked angrily. Before Huamin could answer, he suddenly heard a familiar voice from his phone. Hello? Suyu dialed the number, but he didn't make the call. Huamin, on the other hand, dialed the number. So the voice that came from Suyu's phone in Huamin's hand was Qin Chu's? She was scared out of her wits when she thought of this. Huamin immediately made a shushing gesture to the others. Then he handed the phone to Suyu. Suyu was a little nervous. He only wanted to scare Huamin and didn't really plan on calling Qin Chu. However, he accidentally dialed the number. Hello? What do you want from me? Suyu took the phone and asked awkwardly. You're calling me and you're asking me what I want from you? Qin Chu was speechless. Although he didn't talk to Suyu on the phone, Suyu's phone number wasn't a secret in their circle. Qin Chu immediately knew who was on the other end of the line. Ahem. I actually didn't want to talk to you about anything, I just wanted to ask if you ate yet. Do you think we can just chat casually with someone like you? Are you crazy? Mr. Qin said calmly. You're right, that's all then. Bye. Then before Qin Chu could say anything, Suyu immediately hung up. Beside them, Huamian finally let out a sigh of relief. It was a good thing that this annoying person didn't tell Mr. Qin, or else he would have been taught a lesson. Just then, the waiter brought over a lamb leg that was sizzling with oil. Immediately, the aroma of food filled the air. You guys eat first, I'm going to leave, haha. Huamian was still worried and decided to leave first. But you haven't eaten yet? Jiang Shaowei didn't want him to leave. We'll eat another day. Ha, today's expenses are on me. It's my treat. Everyone enjoy yourselves. Then before the others could react, Huamin's picked up his bag left mean was. He was so fast. What's going on? The person who's treating us ran away? Tang Chuan laughed. She's probably afraid that Qin Chu will find out what happened today. Qin Chu is very worried about Huamin. If he finds out that she went racing at Akina Mountain, the consequences won't be good. Jiang Shaowei said slowly as she held a pair of chopsticks in her mouth. Huamin is a smart girl. She looks like a good girl, but she's actually a troublemaker, Tang Chuan commented. A troublemaker needs to be strong. I heard that the two girls from the Song family were scared out of their wits. Luckily they were lucky. When they flipped over, the ditch was only about 3 meters deep. If it was anywhere else, they would have been smashed into pieces. Jiang Shaowei gloated. Huamin left the restaurant and called a cab to go home. Sure enough, less than 5 minutes after she got home, Qin Chu came home. She quickly changed into her pajamas and pretended that she had just woken up. Honey, you're back. Have you eaten? Oh. What do you want to eat? I'll make it for you. Qin Chu looked up, glanced at Huamian and asked faintly, did you do something wrong to me again? Chapter 1199. Ahem, how is that possible? Am I such a disobedient person? Huamin retorted guiltily. Sir, what would you like for dinner? I'll ask the kitchen to prepare it. Uncle Li walked over and took Qin Chu's jacket. Just a bowl of noodles. I don't have anything I want to eat. As soon as Chin Chu finished speaking, Huamin rushed into the kitchen. Honey, I'll cook for you. Do you want spicy or light? Chin Chu didn't say anything, he just stared quietly at Huamin's face. Why are you looking at me like that? Huamin felt guilty again. I feel like you're hiding something from me. Ahem. How is that possible? Honey, you're thinking too much. Is it because of work stress that you're overthinking things? It's okay. I'll make you some soup later to help your brain. Then Huamin ran into the kitchen and didn't dare to show his face again. Chin Chu went upstairs to change his clothes and take a shower. Then he took his tablet downstairs and started working in the living room. At night, most of the maids went to bed, so Huamin told Uncle Li not to tell Huamin that he just came back. Half an hour later, Huamin personally made a bowl of fragrant hot noodle soup. He even made Chin Chu a bowl of brightening eyes and nourishing spirit soup. It was actually made with cassia seeds, bitter chrysanthemum and other important ingredients. Chin Chu sat in the living room and wolfed down the noodles. In fact, as long as it was made by Huamin, he would eat it happily no matter how bad it tasted. Huamin cupped his face with his hands and quietly watched Mr. Chin eat. Handsome people. Even the way they ate was so elegant and charming. What a feast for the eyes. Why are you looking at me like that? Chin Chu looked up. Because you're handsome and easy on the eyes. Don't flatter me yet. Come, let me ask you, where's your car? When Chin Chu came back, he did not see the Audi R8 in the parking lot. So where was her car? This was a crucial question. Huamin's heart was in his mouth again. The car is broken. How did it break? Chin Chu asked while eating. I accidentally bumped into someone on the way back. I drove it to the 4S store to get it fixed. Really? Who did you bump into? A pair of sisters. They're probably new and don't know how to drive, so they rear-ended each other. Huamin continued to answer honestly. Then, how much did I pay you? That hasn't been calculated yet. They don't lack money. They said that when my car is repaired and the bill is out, they will compensate me together. Which part of the road did you hit? The highway. Huamin was telling the truth. She was indeed on the highway when Song Yishuan rear-ended her car. Why didn't you tell me that something so big happened? It's not a big deal. You're so busy every day, how could I trouble you? Huamin smiled guiltily. Chin Chu finished her noodles in a few bites and placed her chopsticks on the table. Then she took out her phone and began talking. It's weird today, so you actually called me. Really? Huamin felt even more guilty. Yeah, I think he wants to talk to me about something, but he didn't say anything. What do you think he wants to talk to me about? After speaking, Chin Chu leaned over and looked closely at Huamin. She didn't dare to look directly at Chin Chu. She was afraid that he would see right through her. So he wants to talk to you? How would I know what he wants to talk to you about? Huamin purposely avoided the topic. But I think that if Suyu wants to talk to me, it must have something to do with you. So, honey, can you tell me what happened tonight? Chin Chu's tone was very gentle, but the more gentle it was, the more Huamin was scared. It was like the calm before the storm. At this moment, Huamin was in a dilemma. She was wondering if she should confess and ask for leniency, or if she should just deny it and continue to hide the truth. Chapter 1200. After hesitating for 5 seconds, in the end, Huamin purposely looked up at the ceiling and said, "The weather is nice today, it's sunny and windy." The truth was, Huamin didn't want to lie to Chin Chu, but she was really afraid that Mr. Chin would get angry. Every time Mr. Chin got angry, it would be like the ice age in the house. In the end, Chin Chu stared at Huamin for a while, then took out his phone and placed it on the table. This video is going viral on WeChat today, it's pretty interesting, take a look. Huamin suspiciously picked up the phone and took a look. Holy shit, wasn't this a video of her and the Song sisters racing? From the visual angle it looked like an aerial shot, but it was very clear. All of a sudden Huamin felt like she was struck by lightning. The Huamian stammered for a long time, unable to say anything. Don't you think the license plate looks familiar? Chin Chu looked at her with a smile in his eyes. It would have been better if Mr. Chin didn't smile, but when he did she got goosebumps. Honey, I'm sorry. Huamin saw that she couldn't hide the truth anymore, so she immediately started apologizing. Oh, you're sorry? What did you do wrong? Shouldn't you tell me that you lent your car to someone else to race? No, I didn't lend it to anyone else, I drove it myself. Huamin didn't want to weave any more lies, so she decided to come clean. That shouldn't be my wife. You've always been a steady driver, why would you race? Chin Chu purposely rubbed his chin and said, Honey, this is what happened. Then during the 10-minute-long statement, Huamin explained the truth of what happened to Chin Chu. Everything she said was true and she wasn't exaggerating at all. After hearing what she said, Chin Chu quietly asked, I'm not interested in anything else, and I don't want to know why you were racing or who you were racing with. How's the other person's injury? I just want to ask you, why did you race behind my back? It was an emergency and I was angry, so I made a bet with her. Did you know that Song Yishuan is an amateur racer? No. Then did you know that the Akina mountain track is known as the Road of Death? Chin Chu asked again. The smile on his face gradually disappeared and his expression became colder and colder. Then have you ever thought about how I would feel if you were the one who got hit? Chin Chu's to Hua Chin Chu Huamian. Huamian, you're so selfish. You only care about your own feelings and never consider mine. You have no idea how important you are to me. You treat this as a game, but it's a disaster for me. I'm a little tired, I don't want to say anything else. After Chin Chu finished speaking, he turned around and went upstairs with his tablet. Huamin was left alone in the living room, all alone and cold. She didn't feel good about it. After Chin Chu went upstairs, he went straight to his study and turned on his computer to do some work. The video was taken by some racing enthusiasts who happened to be near Akina Mountain. They used a small aerial camera to take pictures of the two cars. Then they crazily reposted it on their WeChat moments. The title of the video was, If your girlfriend drove like this, would you dare to ride in her? Countless netizens commented that the two cars were too fast. Did they have a death wish? Some professional racers also praised, the owner of the Audi is amazing. Although she's not very good at driving, she's very stable and beautiful when she turns. The person who posted the video didn't want to get into trouble, so they censored the first 2 digits of the license plate. However, Chin Chu could still tell that it was Huamin's car. He wondered why his left eyelid kept twitching tonight. It turned out that his worrisome wife had caused trouble again. Just then Chin Chu's phone rang. Chapter 12:01. Chin Chu, I was careless about your wife, I'm sorry. After Rick fell in love with his girlfriend, he had been intimately attached to her. He used to send people to protect Huamin, but things had been peaceful recently, so he let his guard down. Now Huamin's racing incident had spread throughout the industry. Rick immediately apologized to Chin Chu. It's okay, it's not your fault, my Mian is really a pain in the ass. Chin Chu didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Okay, call me if you need anything. The two men hung up after a few words. At this time, Gao Ran sent him a WeChat voice message. Mr. Rich, come out and drink. How dare you ask me to drink with you? I haven't had the chance to settle the score with you for not telling me. What are you talking about? I don't understand. Gao Ran immediately felt guilty. Go on, keep making things up, I'm getting more and more confused. Gao Ran pretended to be confused, trying to get away with it. You used to think that we were on the same page and that we were still buddies. But now that you slept with Zhu Lingling, you betrayed her, right? You helped her hide it from me? No, how could I? You're still being stubborn. Good, very good, then swear that if you hide anything from me you'll have erectile dysfunction for the rest of your life. Fuck. You're so evil. Gao Ran was so angry that he almost stomped his feet. If you dare to swear, I'll believe you. Chin Chu didn't give up. Fine, I give up. Chin Chu, you're so evil. I really shouldn't have done that. You're so smart, so you must know that Huamin needs to be taught a lesson, or else she'll be too stubborn. We're talking about you now. You're a police officer, but you're so spineless that you're betrayed by a woman. No, I'm innocent. You don't know how evil Huamin is. She said that if I didn't help her hide it from you, she would tell Lingling that I was dating Lin Xuejiao. You don't know how much Lingling trusts Huamin. Would I dare to take that risk? I've been single for 10,000 years and finally found a girlfriend. Can you bear to see me get dumped? Chin Chu chuckled softly. Huamian and her weren't family and they wouldn't enter the same house. She even dared to threaten Gao Ran and made him obedient. She was really something else. The two of you should take care of your own business, right? Don't drag us down with you. I wish you a wonderful night. Goodbye. With that, Gao Ran started playing dead. He made up his mind that no matter what Chin Chu said he wouldn't reply. Chin Chu looked at his watch. It had been almost 15 minutes since he went upstairs. According to his calculations, Huamin would definitely come and apologize within 20 minutes. When that time came, just wait and see. Gao Ran was right about one thing. It was time to teach this little wild horse of his a lesson. Otherwise he would really be out of control. This time he was racing. Next time he would probably fly into the sky. Downstairs, Huamin racked his brains for a way to appease Mr. Qin. He seemed to be really angry, angrier than before. In the end, Huamin decided to use his ultimate move. After 20 minutes of stalemate, Huamin decided to take the initiative. Outside the study, Huamin gently knocked on the door. Chin Chu didn't even look up as he continued to read. Huamin was wearing a light pink lacy sexy nightgown. Zhu Lingling had bought it for her when they were shopping. Zhu Lingling told her that she would be able to make Chin Chu fall head over heels for her. This nightgown was translucent and faintly discernible. It was indeed very seductive, honey, Huamin purposely said in a coquettish voice. Her soft voice made Chin Chu's bones melt. Chapter 1202. Chin Chu pretended not to hear her. Huamin walked over and got closer. Then she stood beside him and called out weakly, honey, what? Chin Chu looked up and purposely put on a straight face. Fuck. Chin Chu was speechless. His wife stole the line he always used to say, honey, what do you think of this dress? It's nothing, I hate lace. Chin Chu purposely put on a long face. Huamin. Then she turned around and ran away. Chin Chu was puzzled. He had just dealt a blow to Huamian and now she was running away? Her heart was too fragile. Was he being too harsh with his words? Should he coax her? At this thought, Chin Chu suddenly realized that she was the one in the wrong, not him. He had to be firm. He had to be firm. He couldn't surrender so quickly. He couldn't do it either. Seduction didn't work either. Then Chin Chu picked up his teacup, took a sip and went back to work. 5 minutes later, Huamin appeared at the door again. Honey. Honey. Her voice was even more coquettish than last time. Chin Chu unintentionally turned his head and almost fell off his chair. Because at this moment Huamin's nightgown was gone. She had changed into an extremely sexy blue-striped maid outfit. Trying to seduce him with a uniform? No, he couldn't admit defeat. He couldn't let her go so easily. Chin Chu coughed lightly and pretended not to see anything. He turned around and continued working. Honey, does this look good? Huamin really should thank Zhu Lingling. In order to spice up their relationship, she bought him so many weird things. Although she didn't wear it even once because she was shy, it came in handy when she made a mistake. It doesn't look good, it's so ugly, Chin Chu said against his will. Huamin looked down at herself. When she looked in the mirror just now, she clearly felt fine. Did Chin Chu not like it? Then she turned around and ran away again. This time Chin Chu wasn't in the mood to work. His Mion was playing a game of cross-dressing. She even tried to seduce him with a uniform. He wasn't in the mood to continue working. His heart began to beat faster. 5 minutes later, when Huamin came back again, she had changed into a bunny girl outfit. It was white and had 2 rabbit ears. It was very cute. Chin Chu almost couldn't hold back his laughter. In the end, it was his strong willpower that controlled him. Then he deliberately asked with a dark face, so our house has become a big forest? Huamian looked at her bra, low-cut blouse and bunny ears. She was not used to it either. Then looking at Mr. Qin's murderous eyes, she was sure that she had failed again. Huamian stomped her foot in anger, turned around and ran away again. In the bedroom she thought about it and decided that she couldn't keep changing her clothes like this. It was a waste of time, and she looked like a clown in front of Mr. Qin. After thinking for a moment, Huamin decided to use her ultimate move. When Huamin appeared in front of Chin Chu again, Chin Chu's eyes widened. Huamin was wearing a bikini, which was rare. She was so traditional that she wouldn't wear such a sexy swimsuit when she went on vacation to the Maldives. But today she was wearing a bikini, and it was aqua blue. It was a beautiful bikini. It completely exposed Huamin's golden ratio figure. She had a flat stomach, a slim waist, a curvy butt and a not too big but not too small cup size. Most importantly, she wet her hair, and water droplets kept dripping down. It was an extremely seductive scene. Chin Chu swallowed his saliva. He couldn't help but whisper, honey. Chapter 1203. Seeing Qin Chu's expression, Huamin knew that her trump card had worked. Oh yeah, she wanted to cheer in her heart. Huamin gestured with her finger. Honey, it's getting late, shouldn't we go to bed? You're right, Mrs. Qin. The two of them began to play the game of time travel and they began to talk about ancient people. Then Qin Chu stood up. He picked up Huamin horizontally and walked straight into the spacious bedroom on the second floor. Huamin was elated. If she knew that this method would work, she would have used it a long time ago. She didn't have to be so scared, she almost peed her pants. Mr. Qin was really scary when he was angry. Huamin made up her mind that Mr. Qin would fall for her beauty trap and not pursue what happened tonight. But she forgot one thing. Who was Mr. Qin? He was famous for being two-faced. Would he let Huamin off the hook so easily? No, if he let her off the hook so easily, then he wouldn't be Qin Chu. In the bedroom, after Qin Chu placed Huamin on the bed, he didn't rush to get on top of her. Instead, he began to unbuckle his belt. Huamin opened her eyes shyly when she heard the clanking sound of metal. She thought to herself, my husband knows how to unbuckle his belt and I don't even have to do it myself. Just as she thought about it, she saw Qin Chu tie Huamin's hands up with his belt. Honey, are you that hardcore? Huamin was a little dizzy. No way? Sidem. This was too explosive. How come she didn't know that her husband was such a wild man before? Sure enough, although humans had evolved into the highest level of animals, their bodies were still stimulated by male hormones, and they still had the most primitive wildness in their hearts. Huamin thought that if her husband wasn't angry, then it wouldn't be a big deal to play hardcore once in a while. After all, he was her husband, not an outsider. Plus, Mr. Qin was so nice to her that he wouldn't hurt her. Thinking of this, Huamin said weakly, Honey, just tie me up. Forget about the whip and wax. Ha, I can't take it. Qin Chu narrowed his eyes and looked down at Huamin. Then he smiled evilly. Can't take it? You're pretending to be a little sheep now. When you're racing, why don't you think about whether you can handle it? Hubby, I was wrong. You can kill me or torture me as you wish. I just ask for your forgiveness. Huamin continued to act pitiful in an attempt to gain Mr. Qin's pity. I don't want to kill you, nor do I want to skin you. I just want to. After saying that, Qin Chu bent down and tore with his big hand. The force wasn't very strong, but the bikini was instantly turned into strips of cloth. All of a sudden, the spring scenery became ineffective. Under the bright lights was Huamin's perfect and fair body. She had the shyness and inexperience of a young girl. She was a genius in other aspects, but she was a slow idiot when it came to sex. Because of her shyness and embarrassment, she always pretended to be an ostrich. She would bury her head under the covers and only show her head when he was done. Zhu Lingling had scolded her several times and told her that she was useless. Zhu Lingling even taught her some tricks. However, she was too embarrassed to use them on Qin Chu. Today's occasion under this kind of atmosphere was truly unprecedented. Hubby, please forgive me. Huamin looked at Qin Chu with puppy eyes. She had a pitiful look on her face. Sure, after tonight I'll forgive you. After saying this, Mr. Qin bent down and started kissing her all over her body. The sound of rapid breathing could be heard in the room. In an instant, the atmosphere became extremely ambiguous. Chapter 1204. Huamin originally thought that they were just going to have sex like every other time. At most, Mr. Qin wouldn't have enough and would do it a few more times. But this time she guessed wrongly. Under Mr. Qin's skillful teasing, Huamin's face was as red as a boiled crab. Her desire was at its peak and she thought that they could make love to each other. But she was wrong again. Mr. Qin actually got up and left. What was going on? Honey, what is it, honey? Qin Chu sat on the chaise lounge, lit up a cigarette and asked slowly. Huamin found it hard to speak. You want it? Qin Chu asked. Huamin nodded shyly, but Mr. Qin said the cruelest word of her life, no. Damn it. He teased her until she couldn't take it anymore, and then he got up to smoke and shamelessly said that he wouldn't give it to her. Honey, don't be like this. Huamin's heart itched. She was a normal person, okay? Who could stand being teased like this by the person they loved? Think about it. Calm down. Huamin. Her hands were tied by Mr. Qin's belt so she couldn't move at all. Huamin lay on the bed, closed her eyes and forced herself to calm down. Don't think about anything and calm down. I don't want it, I just don't want it. After 5 minutes, Huamin felt a lot better. She opened her eyes, and was dumbfounded again. Mr. Chin threw away the cigarette in his hand and pressed himself on her again. This time he kissed her like a storm. The consciousness that she had just gathered with great difficulty was once again crushed mercilessly. Then just when she couldn't take it anymore, Mr. Chin got up and straightened his collar. "Chin Chu, you bastard, are you messing with me?" Huamin finally understood what was going on. Mr. Chin wasn't asking for the truth. He was just toying with her. Chin Chu's gaze was clearly saying, "Yes, I'm playing with you. So what? Bite me?" "Honey, calm down. We'll continue in 5 minutes." Huamin felt as if countless alpacas were running through his heart. "Chin Chu, what kind of hero are you to play like this?" "I'm sorry, I'm not a hero. In this family I only want one identity, your husband. If you want to kill me, then do it quickly. Killing me is just a matter of time. What's the point of playing like this?" Interesting, very interesting. Seeing Chin Chu's infuriating look, Huamin was also furious. Seeing that force didn't work, she changed her strategy. "Honey, don't be like this, okay? Let's talk things out. I can't talk, but I'll do my best. I promise that tonight will be very enjoyable." Chin Chu smiled meaningfully. Huamin was speechless. She couldn't hold it in anymore. Although her hands were tied, her legs were still flexible. She slowly got up and was about to get off the bed. However, before she could reach the bed, Chin Chu's big hand grabbed her white ankle. "Honey, the game isn't over, you can't go anywhere." Then Chin Chu took off his white shirt and pressed Huamin down again. Then it was another round of extreme lovemaking. But no matter what, he wouldn't give it to her. It was foreplay all the way, and Huamin felt like her entire body was on fire. Like a raging fire. Chin Chu's method was so fucking cruel. "Chin Chu, we're a married couple, how can you treat me like this?" She deliberately provoked him. "We're a married couple, why didn't you think of me when you were racing?" "Honey, I was wrong." Huamin cried and begged for mercy again. "It's too late to admit your mistake." Then Chin Chu began another round of gentle torture. The truth was, during this process, Chin Chu was even more uncomfortable than Huamin. He loved her so much that his body was reacting to it. Huamin felt something hard pressing against her legs. That feeling was indescribably satisfying. She took a deep breath and angrily asked, "Stupid Chin Chu, do you dare to come in here?" Chapter 1205. "I wouldn't dare." Mr. Chin replied shamelessly. Huamian wanted to bang her head against the wall. How could he torture her like this? He might as well just beat her up. She was going crazy. In the end, Huamin couldn't persuade him with force or persuasion, so she had to give up resisting. Then she silently cried. As expected, Chin Chu's heart softened when he saw Huamin like this. "Honey," he called out with heartache. "Don't talk to me." Huamin turned her head away angrily. Strange, she was the one who did something wrong, so why did it seem like he was the one at fault in the end? "Honey, don't be mad. I'll give it to you." "Get out, don't touch me." Huamin was furious. She kicked Chin Chu away. She became anxious as she messed around. This was the perfect example of this couple. Mr. Chin felt wronged. Who was the one who did something wrong? "I did something wrong, but I also admitted my mistake. No one would do something like you did. You did it to me all night, wah." Then Huamin couldn't help but cry. Chin Chu wasn't afraid of anything, but he was afraid of Huamin crying. No matter how big of a mistake Huamin made, as long as she cried, his heart would immediately soften. "Honey, don't cry, I won't pursue this matter, okay?" "Wah, honey, not only will I not pursue this matter, I will also apologize to you. I shouldn't have tortured you like this, okay? Wah, honey, what do you want? As long as you don't cry, I'll listen to everything you say." "Really?" Huamin immediately stopped crying and glanced at Mr. Chin suspiciously. "Really?" Chin Chu made up his mind to not pursue this matter. As long as his wife didn't cry, everything would be okay. "Then, untie me first." Huamin pouted and cupped her hands. Without another word, Chin Chu untied her. "Is this okay, honey? No, use this to tie yourself up." "Chin Chu, wah, don't cry, honey, I'll do it myself." Chin Chu didn't know what to do. As long as Huamin didn't cry, he would do anything. Chin Chu tied himself up. Still unsatisfied, Huamian took out Chin Chu's other belt from the cabinet. She tied his legs as well. "Honey, what are you trying to do?" Chin Chu felt uneasy. "Chin Chu, hu Chin Chu and hu Chin Chut, you do what you do to me." Ti Chin Chin Chutas. Ti Duk Tin. Huamin bent down and began kissing Mr. Chin like a storm. Qin Chu sucked in a breath of cold air. How could he resist such blatant seduction? Qin Chu's voice was a little hoarse and deep, but it had an indescribable charm to it. Yeah. Don't do that, you're playing with fire. Playing with fire is good, I like playing with fire. Huamin looked like a scoundrel who got what he wanted. After using her tears to get Mr. Qin to take pity on her, she immediately turned hostile and began doing the same thing to Mr. Qin. It was perfect. Are you sure? Qin Chu didn't know whether to laugh or cry. I'm very sure. Shoo, don't say anything, just enjoy the taste that I just enjoyed. Huamin tried her best to imitate Mr. Qin's seductive technique. However, a tearing sound was heard. The belt came open. Mr. Qin mercilessly broke open such a sturdy belt. Was it because she didn't tie it tight enough? Before Huamin could react, Mr. Qin suddenly pushed her onto the bed and devoured her. Qin Chu, you bastard, you cheated. Huamin looked like she was wronged. Qin Chu smiled but didn't say anything. Then he started kissing her. Chapter 1206. The next morning when Huamin woke up it was already 9 a.m. Oh no, I'm late. She immediately got up and realized that her back was sore. Damn it, Qin Chu. Last night was too much for her, okay? Even if it was their wedding night, he didn't need to go that far. He wanted to eat her up. Just then she noticed the note next to her pillow. It was obviously Mr. Qin's handwriting. Honey, I helped you take the morning off. Sleep well. Also, last night, thank you for your hard work. Huamin didn't know whether to laugh or cry after reading the note. Last night was indeed hard on her. Her back was about to break and her legs were sore as hell. That terrifying amount of energy was almost equivalent to climbing a mountain. Huamin stretched and then weakly got up from the bed. She changed her clothes and went downstairs. Uncle Li immediately ordered someone to prepare breakfast. Just then her phone began to ring. It was an unknown number. Hello? Hello, is this Miss Huamin? Speaking. I'm Miss Song's accountant. Miss Song asked me to transfer the money to you. Which bank account do you think is more convenient? Huamin suddenly remembered the bet she made with Song Yishuan. If she won, she would pay for her car in full. A bank account will do. I just sent it to you. Okay, I'll transfer it to you right away. How are Song Yishuan and the others? Huamin asked tentatively. Miss Song is already out of the hospital, but her sister's injuries are quite serious. She needs plastic surgery and is still in the hospital. Oh, okay, I got it. After hanging up, Huamin sent her bank account number to the bank. 10 minutes later, she received a notification from the bank. More than 1,000,000 yuan had been transferred to her account. Although Song Yishuan was annoying, she still kept her promise. Then the accountant sent her another message. Miss Song said that the money has been transferred. Miss Hua, she hopes that you can delete the video on your phone. I know. Huamin knew that Song Yishuan thought that the video was a disaster, so there was no point in keeping it, so he just deleted it. She could only hope that Song Yishuan would keep her word and avoid her the next time she saw her. Anyway, he didn't want to see the Song sisters. Otherwise, he would be in a bad mood. After breakfast, Huamin looked at the time. It was still early, so he went to Sky Blessing Court to see his mother. Sky Blessing Court, Huamin, why are you here at this hour? Aren't you at work? Yang Merong was surprised to see Huamin. I took the morning off. Huamin looked around and asked, where's Xiaoping? She went out. She said she went out to eat with her friends. Friends? She's only been in the city for a few days and she already has friends? Huamin was a little surprised. Communication is so advanced these days. There's QQ and WeChat. I don't know how they met. She doesn't want to listen even if I tell her too much. Yang Merong sighed. That won't do. Who's going to take responsibility if she gets scammed by an online friend? Mom, why don't you tell her to go home? She'll be worried. Huamin didn't like Yang Xiaoping, so he didn't want her to stay. Okay, I'll talk to her when she comes back. Yang Merong nodded. Alright, Mion, have you eaten yet? I'll get you something to eat. It's okay, I already ate. I just came to see you. Then Huamin took out 50,000 yuan in cash from his bag and placed it on the table. Mom, take this. Don't be stingy. I can make money now, so you have to treat yourself better. You're giving me money again. I don't need it. I still haven't spent all the money you gave me last time. Take it, you can buy whatever you want. After giving his mother the money, Huamin ate some fruit. Seeing that it was about time, he called a cab and went to the hospital. His car was sent for repair, so he probably wouldn't be able to get it back anytime soon. As soon as Huamin arrived at the hospital, Jiang Xiaowei called. Mian, are you at work? Yeah, I just got to the hospital. What's up? Did Siyu look for you? No, why would he look for me? Huamin was a little confused. Jiang Xiaowei wanted to say something but stopped. Chapter 1207. What's wrong with him? Huamin asked anxiously. He thought something happened to Suyu. He's going on a long trip, his flight is at 1:20. I thought he'd visit you before he left. A long trip? Where's he going? Huamin was a bit surprised. Suyu rarely went on long trips. Even when he went overseas for vacation, he would be back in a week at most. He's going south with his grandfather for an inspection. He's going with the army. I think he'll be gone for at least a month. What about the company? Imperial Star is fine. He can give orders over the phone. Plus, the vice president of Imperial Star is from his family, so it's fine. Oh, I see. So he didn't go to you? No. Huamin nodded. He didn't call you either? Jiang Xiaowei asked in disbelief. No. Maybe he thought it through. Who knows? Anyway, I heard from Wei Liao. It's a sudden decision. It is. After hanging up the phone, Huamin didn't think too much about it. Suyu's trip had nothing to do with her. Then she picked up the patient information her assistant gave her and began to read it. The truth was, Suyu did come to Southside in the morning, but he didn't see Huamin. He asked her assistant and found out that she took the morning off. Suyu left in disappointment. There was only an hour left until 1:20. Inside the VIP lounge at the airport. What's wrong with you? You're going to South Sea for a month? Are you crazy? Tang Chuan was very displeased. If Suyu left, who would hang out with him? My grandfather is old and sometimes even his assistant can't figure him out. I'll go with him and take care of him. I think you want to hide from Huamin. Why would I hide from her? Suyu smiled helplessly. You want to see if you can try to forget her and let her go after being away for a month. You speak as if you know me very well. Suyu smiled. Do you dare to say no? Tang Chuan questioned. If you say so, then so be it. But if I can really go out for a month and let go of her, that would be a relief. Suyu was actually in a bit of pain right now. The deeper he fell, the less free and easy he felt, especially when he found out that Huamin had risked his life to race. If Huamin was his woman, he would definitely carry her upstairs and give her a good spanking. I'll teach her a good lesson and see if she dares to be so lawless in the future. But he couldn't because he didn't have the right to control Huamin. The only person who could control Huamin was Qin Chu. It would always be Qin Chu. So every time he thought about this, Suyu felt extremely pained. Last night in the yurt after Huamin left, he was in a bad mood and drank a lot of white wine. Then he completely got drunk. After drinking he vomited, and after vomiting he drank again. Even Jiang Xiaowei was speechless. She never thought that Suyu would love Huamin so much. He loved her so much that he couldn't even talk about it. When Suyu returned to the mansion drunk, he didn't even remember what his mother and grandfather said. Anyway, when he woke up this morning, his grandfather announced that he had to take him with him to the south. Maybe his grandfather didn't want to see him in so much pain and wanted to take him into the army so that he could experience life in the south. To be honest, Suyu didn't want to leave because his heart ached when he thought about not being able to see Huamin for a month. Then you don't want to see her before you leave? Tang Chuan asked. Forget it. Suyu lowered his head with a heavy heart. At this moment, Tang Chuan picked up his phone and called Huamin. Huamin? I'm Tang Chuan. Can you come to the airport to send Lord Su off? I'm begging you. Tang Chuan rarely spoke so seriously, let alone when he was begging someone. Huamin was dumbfounded when he heard this. You little brat, what are you doing? Hang up. Suyu didn't want to make things difficult for Huamin, so he grabbed Tang Chuan's phone. There's still an hour before departure. I really want to know, will she come? Tang Chuan looked at Suyu sympathetically. Lord Su did so much for that woman, and now she wasn't even willing to send him off. Chapter 1208. Southside Recuperation Center. Huamin sat in her office in a daze as she held her phone in her hand. She knew that Suyu was leaving Sea City for a while. Because Jiang Xiaowei had told her about it a long time ago. She thought that Suyu would send her a Weibo message or something, but he didn't. What was even more surprising was that Tang Chuan, a passerby, couldn't stand it anymore. He actually took the initiative to call her and asked her to send Suyu off. But was it really meaningful for her to go? Of course not. First of all, if Huamin went to send Suyu off, even if Mr. Qin wasn't jealous, he would still feel uncomfortable. Plus, it wasn't like Suyu wasn't coming back. He was only leaving for a month. Second of all, she didn't like Suyu at all. If she went to send Suyu off, it would definitely leave him with a glimmer of hope. Rather than continue to make him suffer, she might as well not go and cut off his hopes. Third of all, even if she and Suyu were friends, they were very distant friends. There was no need to make it so grand and even go to the airport to send him off. So after some consideration, Huamin decided to be a heartless woman for once. She knew that Wei Liao, Tang Chuan and even Xiao Wei might think that she was too heartless. Suyu did so much for her, but she didn't even send him off. But it wasn't as simple as a farewell. She knew that she owed Suyu, so she couldn't take everything that Suyu did for her for granted. But in this life she met Qin Chu first, so she couldn't give anyone else her feelings. Her heart was too small. It was so small that it could only fit Mr. Qin alone. She wasn't greedy. God had already given her the best man, so she had to cherish him. She would rather betray him than betray him. In this life she would rather betray the world than betray Qin Chu's love. Mr. Qin didn't like to talk. Most of the time he used his actions to prove himself. That man, from his youth to his middle age, had been deeply in love with her all these years. That love was deep and unforgettable. Back when Qin Chu underwent heart surgery, Huamin had experienced those demonic days. She finally saw her own heart clearly. She was willing to sacrifice her life for him, so, no matter what kind of infamy she had to bear, no matter what kind of accusations she had to bear, it was fine to say that she was ungrateful. You could say that she was burning the bridge after crossing the river, or even that she was not worth befriending. There was no way she was going to give it to Suyu. He definitely couldn't go to the airport. But she really hoped that Suyu could get over it, give up his obsession with her, and pursue a new beginning that belonged to him. Chief, there's another patient who wants to see you, but you're not supposed to see them today. Do you want to pick them up? Qinjie ran in, panting. Pick it up. Those who are here to register must be in a hurry to see a doctor. They can't be delayed. Huamin nodded and calmly continued to make house calls. At the airport, a young man in a military uniform walked over to Suyu and saluted him. Young Master Su, the chief asked me to tell you to board the plane. Suyu nodded. When his grandfather went out, the plane was specially used by the military. It wasn't as simple as the private planes of the rich. Most importantly, this plane had combat capabilities and was quite powerful. Plus, there were quite a lot of leaders going south this time, so there were a lot of bodyguards following them. Suyu, as a family member, was just one of them. Do you want to wait a little longer? Maybe she'll come? Tang Chuan couldn't help but ask. There's no need to wait, she won't come. Suyu knew his place. He knew how Huamin felt about him. So he didn't have any hope. Before boarding the plane, Suyu didn't forget to look back at the empty corridor. She really didn't come. Lord Su, come back soon. Tang Chuan waved his hand reluctantly. Suyu carried a simple travel bag, smiled and turned to board the plane. In the afternoon, Huamin was reading documents in his office. A woman wearing sunglasses and a mask pushed open the door and walked in. Hey miss, you can't go in. Our chief won't be seeing patients in the afternoon. Qinjie wanted to stop her, but she couldn't. Huamin looked up. Before he could say anything, he saw the woman take off her sunglasses and mask. Huamin froze because this person was Emo Shui. Chapter 1209. Huamin, can we talk? Emo Schweger smiled. Sure, but I'm at work right now. I won't take up too much of your time, Mo Schweger emphasized. Okay. In the end, Huamin nodded. His assistant saw that Huamin knew this woman, so he didn't say anything else and left. Emo Schweger sat down on the chair across from Huamin. She looked a little tired and her face was a little pale. Do you want some water? No thank you. Should I call you a young lady or Huamin? Emo Schweger smiled bitterly and continued to ask. You can call me whatever you like, I don't mind. Then I'll call you Huamin. Huamin nodded. After a moment of silence, Emo Schweger looked up at Huamin and said, word for word, I'm pregnant. Huamin was shocked. Emo Schweger was still single. She wasn't even married yet, but she was pregnant. After recovering from his shock, Huamin immediately asked, Huasiqian? Emo Schweger nodded. Huamin didn't know what to say. Emo Schwerer and Huasiqian never announced that they were a couple, so her pregnancy was quite sudden. Does he know? He does. Then what did you guys talk about? Do you want to keep the child? Huamin asked calmly. Emo Schwerer took a deep breath and looked at Huamin. I came to find you because of this. Huasiqian wants me to abort the child. You know that we're just partners in bed. But I don't want to. I love him and I want to keep the child. Even if he doesn't marry me, I don't care. I just want to have the child. Then give birth to her. The child is in your belly. It's your freedom to keep her or not. Emo Schweger smiled bitterly. That's impossible. You don't know Huasiqian at all. He won't agree. What can I do for you? Huamin asked the main point. Emo Schweger must have come to her for a favor. Otherwise she wouldn't have come all the way to Southside. Emo Schweger was silent for a while. Then she suddenly reached out and grabbed Huamin's wrist. Huamin, I'm begging you, please help me. Huasiqian, he loves you a lot. He'll definitely listen to you. Me? That's impossible. You've overestimated me. Huasiqian and I only have a mutually beneficial relationship. Then can you give it a try? Please take pity on me and my child. I beg you, Huamin. Emo Schweier's tears fell as she spoke. Huamin's heart softened as he looked at her. A woman was pregnant with a man's child, but the man didn't want it and even forced her to abort it. It was indeed a sad thing. Shui, don't be like this. I don't have a choice. Huamin, I know we're not even friends. I'm begging you because I really don't have a choice. Huasiqian is too cold-blooded. He won't listen to anyone. Tell him that as long as I give birth to the child, I'm willing to stop acting and leave the entertainment industry. I'll take care of the child without asking for anything in return. This is actually a private matter between the two of you. I really don't have the right to interfere. You're his favorite sister. The truth is I'm not really his sister. You know we're not related by blood. Huamin felt a little awkward. Huamin. Emo Schweger looked at Huamin with tears in her eyes. In the end, Huamin's heart was touched. She really wanted to get pregnant and have a baby, but there was no news about it. Now that Emo Schweger was pregnant, even though she was unmarried, a superstar like her could easily have a child. Schwerer, don't cry. I can help you. Chapter 12:10. Really? But have you thought about it? If you can't marry him, the child will have a single-parent family. How will the child live without a father? Won't that be too hard for the child? You might as well find someone who's suitable for you, get married and have a complete family. Huamin, to be honest, I want to marry Huasiqian for the rest of my life. I want to marry him. Then did you tell him? Haha, when he was with me before, he already reminded me in advance that when we're together we can play however we want. I can get whatever money I want, but he can't marry me. I was the one who asked for too much. I couldn't control myself and fell into his trap. I can't blame him. It must be hard for you to think that way. Huamin sympathized with Emo Schweger. Emo Schweger bit her lip and didn't say anything else. How far along are you? A little over 5 weeks. Emo Schweger subconsciously touched her belly. Life is magical. Maybe you two are fated to be together. Since you're pregnant, take a break from work. I'll ask the company to give you a break. Thank you, Huamin. Emo Schweger was touched. You're welcome, this is what I should do. As for Huasiqian, I'll try, but I'm not sure if I'll succeed. He's a strange person sometimes and I can't get him to listen to me. I know. Emo Schweger nodded. But since you asked, I'll try my best. Huamin, thank you so much. Emo Schweger thanked him profusely. Then she left the office. After she left, Huamin was no longer in the mood to work. Mo Schweger liked Huasiqian and she had known about it for a long time. It was an open secret that the two of them had been in a relationship for a long time, and everyone in the industry knew about it. However, she didn't expect Emo Schweger to be so serious about giving birth to the child. It was unbelievable. After all, Emo Schweger was a superstar. Why would she do something like this? Looks like the magic of love is really powerful. No matter how smart a woman was or how noble her identity was, she would not be able to resist the desire of a moth flying into a flame. Thinking of this, Huamin sighed slightly. Then he picked up his phone and sent a WeChat message. Are you there? Here, Huasiqian replied instantly. This was the first time that Huamin had sent her a WeChat message. It was truly a memorable moment. I have something to tell you. Sure, I'm all ears. Hua Xiqian sounded very happy. It's hard to explain on WeChat. Can we meet? Of course. You can set the time and place and I'll be there on time. If Hua Xiqian hadn't heard Huamin's voice message, she would have thought that her WeChat account had been hacked. Not only did she take the initiative to send him a WeChat message, she even asked him to meet up. Was this really the cold and gentle girl he knew? Huamin looked at his watch. How about this 6:30 p.m. at Rhine River Cafe on East 3rd Road? You know where it is, right? Okay, I'll be there. Then Huamin sent a WeChat message to Qin Chu, saying that he had something to talk to Hua Xiqian about and that he didn't have to come to Southside to pick him up. Qin Chu respected Huamin's personal space and privacy. Therefore he was very straightforward and told him to call when he was done and pick her up. After work, Huamin changed into a medium-length black cotton jacket and a white scarf. Then he hailed a taxi and went to the cafe. Hua Xiqian was already there. After taking over Hua Xinghai's role, he became a lot more high-profile. His white Maserati was replaced by a gold Rolls-Royce Phantom. Huamin walked in and walked towards Hua Xiqian. Hua Xiqian picked up a bouquet of lilies from his seat and handed it to him. Since this is the first time you took the initiative to treat me to coffee, I bought you a bouquet of flowers on the way. If you don't like it, you can throw it away when you leave. After hearing what Hua Xiqian said, Huamin couldn't refuse. He took the flowers and casually placed them on the seat beside him. Thank you. Little sister Mian, you look good these days, you've become prettier. Hua Xiqian held his coffee and looked at Huamin with a smile. Let's get down to business. Did you know that Emo Schweier is pregnant? Chapter 12:11. I know, Hua Xiqian said casually as if he didn't think it was important. The child is yours, right? She told you that? Hua Xiqian narrowed his eyes and sized up Huamin. Answer me first, right? Yes, so what? Hua Xiqian replied. Emo Schweiger came to me. He wants to keep the child. Of course it would be best if you could marry her. It'd be the best of both worlds. Marry her? Are you crazy? Hua Xiqian smiled coldly. Before Huamin could say anything, Hua Xiqian sat up straight and leaned closer to Huamin. Mian, this is just a game for adults. It has nothing to do with love. When I first got together with Emo Schweiger, I told her that I wouldn't marry her. We were together for what we each needed. All these years I've spent a lot of money to support her. Isn't that great? If she wants to get married, I won't interfere. But you also have to deal with her accidental pregnancy properly, right? At least give me an explanation. After all, she's a victim. Huamin was more feminine. He thought that accidental pregnancy was because the man was too selfish. If he didn't want it, he should have just worn a condom. If he didn't, he would have been a scumbag if he wanted to have fun but didn't want to take responsibility. After she asked this question, Hua Xiqian sneered again. Victim? Her? You mean a woman who set me up, got herself pregnant, and used all kinds of methods to force me to marry her? You said she's a victim? That's the funniest joke I've ever heard. What forced marriage? What scheme? Huamin immediately asked, sensing that something was fishy. When we were together we always wore condoms. Last time I also wore condoms. But she still got pregnant. What does that mean? Isn't it because she tampered with the condoms herself? Huamin. Then she pretended to be pitiful and said that she didn't want any status. On one hand, she went to the media to expose it. On the other hand, she asked you to be her lobbyist. You said that such a person is a victim. Why can't I see it? Huamin, she's not as pitiful as you think she is. I remember telling you to stay away from her. Don't be fooled by her. How should I put it? She's actually quite scary. Even Song Yisher is no match for her. So, don't get involved in our business. You're involved in this mess too. But... Huamin still wanted to say something, but he was interrupted by Hua Xiqian. Waiter, give her a fruit salad. Actually, I don't understand. If you're single, why can't you marry Emo Schweik? He's pretty good. At least she's not worse than those so-called socialites. Is it because you want your family to form a marriage alliance and consolidate your position that you'd rather have her abort your child than give her a home? Mian, I've had a wife in mind for many years, but she's not Emo Schweik. Hua Xiqian said word by word with a serious expression on his face. Huamin, on the other hand, was slightly surprised. Just then a few women walked in. The voices sounded familiar. Huamin turned around and saw that it was Song Yishuan and a few of her best friends. Song Yishuan had just walked in when she saw Huamin. and her face immediately turned awkward. What's wrong? I don't want to drink coffee here anymore. Let's go. Then Song Yishuan turned around and left. She kept her promise and backed away from Huamin as soon as she saw him. Mian, I heard that you won a car race against the Song sisters? Hua Xiqian changed the topic. Chapter 12:12. How did you know? That aerial video is really popular on WeChat. I recognized your car right away. Hua Xiqian smiled. Huamin was speechless. When she thought of that damned video taken by some meddlesome fellow, she was furious. If it wasn't for that video, how would Mr. Qin know about it? How would she be tortured by Mr. Qin the entire night? Miss Song and her sister. I think they really want to die, Hua Xiqian said slowly with a cup of coffee in his hand. You hate them too? Yeah, but it won't be long before you see retribution. What do you mean? Huamin didn't understand. Bitches will be punished by the heavens. So I don't think the Song sisters will have a good ending. Hua Xiqian smiled meaningfully. I'm talking to you about Mo Shui. You sure know how to change the subject. Huamin looked at him speechless. You don't have to talk about Mo Shui. She's smart enough to ask you for help. Tell her that it doesn't matter who she asks. She has to get an abortion or else I won't let her get away with it. Then Hua Xiqian stood up. Before he left, he smiled at Huamin. Your hairstyle today is beautiful, I like it. Huamin froze. She subconsciously touched her hair. It was still in a bun just like every other day. She didn't know why this guy suddenly said something like that. After Hua Xiqian left, she called Mo Shui. She meant that she tried her best but didn't succeed. Mo Shui wasn't in a good mood, but she didn't say anything. She hurriedly thanked Huamin and hung up. Huamin then called Qin Chu. 15 minutes later, Qin Chu appeared at the entrance of the coffee shop. Did you wait long? Honey. No, just for a little while. Huamin smiled. She didn't take the lilies and left them in the coffee shop. She didn't want to make Mr. Qin jealous. What do you want to eat tonight? Qin Chu asked. Whatever. I don't have much of an appetite recently. No appetite? Could it be? Qin Chu didn't finish his sentence. Huamin immediately explained, no, my period just came today. Oh. Qin Chu nodded and didn't say anything else. However, there was no disappointment in his eyes. He had already let nature take its course when it came to children. It would be better if they had children, but he wouldn't be disappointed if they didn't. He also wouldn't pressure Huamin. What did you talk about with Hua Xiqian? About the Hua Corporation? Qin Chu chatted casually. No, it's about his personal matters. Mo Shui is pregnant and wants to marry Hua Xiqian. Hua Xiqian won't agree, Qin Chu said. How do you know? Huamin thought it was quite strange. Hua Xiqian never cared about Mo Shui. Why would he marry her? Hua Xiqian did tell me that he already had a wife in mind many years ago, so he won't marry Mo Shui. That's strange. Who is it that he's been thinking about for so many years? Is it his first love from school? Huamin muttered curiously. Qin Chu glanced at Huamin with a complicated expression. Did he tell you that? Yeah. Huamin nodded. Honey, in the future if possible, don't meet Hua Xiqian alone. I don't really like him. Okay. Huamin nodded obediently. On an island in Southeast Asia, a hot girl in a bikini sat on a rock by the sea. She picked up her phone and said to the other end, Dad, I entered the country a while ago and went to Sea City. I saw her. Are you crazy? How many times have I told you not to look for her? Don't look for her. The old man on the other end of the phone yelled in exasperation. But I miss her a lot. The girl said with a happy smile on her face. Then, how is she doing now? The old man's voice was a little agitated. He seemed to really want to know more about her. Chapter 12:13. She's doing great, she's doing great. Her brain didn't go to waste. She became a doctor, a very good doctor. The girl smiled. That's good. The old man's words seemed to have a deeper meaning. Dad, when can we go and meet her? I can't wait. Now's not the time, you can't mess around. If you don't want to kill her, then don't go. You can't even enter the country, there are too many people watching you. You're taking too much risk. I'm doing it because... Before the girl could finish her sentence, the old man cut her off. The old man angrily hung up the phone. The girl pouted and threw her phone onto the beach. She took out the work pass that she had painstakingly stolen from the bag beside her. She gently touched it. Then she repeated the words, "Neurology attending physician, Huamin, Huamin." When she said Huamin's name, her eyes were filled with endless gentleness. Song Yisher had been staying at the first hospital ever since she raced with Song Yishuan at Mount Akina. Actually, with her condition, she should have stayed at Southside to recuperate, but she hated Huamin too much. Also, she promised Huamin that if she lost, she and Song Yishuan would have to avoid Huamin. Therefore, she had no choice but to stay at the first hospital. Song Yisher's other body parts were fine, but her nose was a little dented. When the car fell, her head hit the bridge of her nose. If it was an original nose, it would have been fine since it would only be a slight fracture. However, her nose had been surgically repaired and had to be injected several times before it was fixed. Just like that, her nose was ruined. Song Yisher was furious and didn't talk to Song Yishuan for a few days. Song Yishuan didn't dare to see her cousin either. After she was discharged from the hospital, she had been hiding on the hospital bed. The medical staff removed the white gauze from her nose. The Song family funded a second plastic surgery for Song Yisher's nose. Not only did they spend many years importing injections from abroad, but they also spent many years importing injections. He even hired a famous plastic surgeon from the capital city. Mayor Song really doted on his daughter. Song Yisher held up the mirror and looked at her nose after her plastic surgery, looking left and right. "Give it a try. What do you think?" Lady Song looked at her daughter nervously. "It's just as a..." Song Yisher didn't seem particularly satisfied. "Why do I feel like you're even prettier than before? Look at how voluptuous and perky you are. You're even prettier than before." Lady Song comforted her daughter. "I think so. All right. My little ancestor, as long as you're well, it's fine. You really scared your mother to death. Tell me, why are you hanging out with that lunatic Xian Xian? Something really happened. How do you want your mother to live? Don't mention that crazy woman to me. I believe that she regretted it until she died. She almost got me killed." Song Yisher's face darkened at the thought of her cousin. "Okay, she was scared out of her wits and was scolded to death by your uncle. Let's be careful this time and drive slower in the future. Mom, does the Qin family know that I'm hospitalized?" "They do. I told Qin Chu's mother on WeChat." "But why didn't they come to see me?" Song Yisher asked. "Qin Chu's mother said that she went abroad. As for Qin Chu, he probably doesn't know, right? Mom, call Qin Chu and tell him that I'm in the hospital." Sure, is that necessary?" Lady Song didn't understand her daughter's actions. What was the point of calling Qin Chu when she was hospitalized? "Of course, I want him to feel bad and know that I'm in this state because of his wife. If Huamin didn't hate me and forced Xian Xian to put me in the passenger seat, I wouldn't have gotten into this accident. That woman has ulterior motives. She's afraid that I'll steal Qin Chu away from her, so she wants to kill me. What a vicious woman. But, do you think Qin Chu will believe you?" Lady Song was slightly worried. Chapter 12:14. He didn't believe me once or twice, but if I tell him more often, maybe he'll slowly believe me. It's a long road to winning Qin Chu's heart. Mom, I'm not in a hurry, I just want results. As long as Qin Chu is mine in the end, that's enough. I'm willing to do anything. Song Yisher's eyes flashed with a cold light. Lady Song frowned slightly, however she couldn't dissuade her daughter, so she called Qin Chu. "Oh." Huamin picked up the phone because Qin Chu was in the shower. "I'm Yisher's mother. Oh, how can I help you?" Huamin was quite polite. "Oh, where's Qin Chu?" "I'm looking for Qin Chu." "He's in the shower. I'm his wife, you can tell me if you need anything." Sure is sick and hospitalized. After all, Qin Chu and my daughter grew up together, so I hope he can come visit. Of course, we don't want any gifts, the Song family doesn't lack anything. We just need a friend's sympathy. I hope you can pass it to Qin Chu." "Oh, I see. Okay, I understand." Huamin nodded and hung up the phone. "Mom, what did he say? Did he come?" Song Yisher placed the mirror in her hand on the bed and asked anxiously. Huamin picked it up. "Why is it her?" Song Yisher was a little angry. He said Qin Chu was in the shower. "That woman is a scheming bitch, she's trying to break me and Qin Chu apart. She's so shameless." Song Yisher was furious. "Don't be angry, maybe she's telling the truth." Although Lady Song loved her daughter, she didn't think Qin Chu's wife was such a bad woman. "Mom, what do you know?" Huamin is very scheming, or else I wouldn't be in this state. Song Yisher yelled at her mother. Sure, don't be so agitated. This is just right, you should get better. Get better? I don't know if Chin Chu will come visit me. If he doesn't, what's the point of staying here? Hurry up and leave the hospital. So annoying. I hate the smell of doctors the most. The formalin is as smelly as the smell of corpses. And these people in white coats, every one of them, I hate. Damn doctors. Song Yisher was extremely irritated at the hospital. Because of her prejudice against Huamian, she was also prejudiced against doctors. Whenever she saw a doctor in a white coat, she would be annoyed. Seeing her daughter like this, Mrs. Song didn't dare to say anything else. She didn't want to agitate her. South Chin Chu came out of the shower. His lower body was wrapped in a towel and his upper body was covered in bronze-colored abs. Huamian gulped and picked up her phone. Honey, it's your call. I'll answer it for you. Who is it? Chin Chu asked as he dried his hair. Song Yisher's mother. What's up? Mr. Chin was expressionless. He didn't care about the Song family. Song Yisher. Wasn't she injured? She was in the hospital because of the car race. Lady Song wants you to go see her daughter. Why should I? But I heard that you two grew up together, right? Me and her. Chin Chu sneered. She lived with us for a year and we barely spoke to each other. He said we grew up together. The Song family sure likes to flatter themselves. So, honey, do you want to go see her? I heard that Song Yishuan only suffered some superficial injuries, but Song Yisher's nose was caved in from the fall. What do you think? Chin Chu glanced at Huamin and asked. Chapter 12:15. If I don't go, will Mayor Song be unhappy? I don't care if the mayor is happy or not. Honey, why are you still standing here if you're not going to take a shower? Mr. Chin asked. I'm on my way, haha. After Huamin answered, she ran into the bathroom like a puff of smoke. Looking at Huamin's petite figure, Chin Chu smiled dotingly. Then he picked up his phone and turned it off. He wasn't interested in the Song family, nor would he be in the future. The next morning, under the name of the Chin clan couple, Huamin sent a flower basket to Song Yisher's room. Huamin thought that since the Song family wanted to express their condolences, he would give them one. She didn't want to make it seem like she didn't want Chin Chu to visit Song Yisher. However, when Song Yisher saw the flower basket, her hair stood on end. This Huamin obviously has ulterior motives. Why would he give me this? He's cursing me to death. What's wrong, sure? How is she cursing you when she gave you flowers? Lady Song was dumbfounded to see her daughter throw a tantrum so early in the morning. If he wanted to give me a gift, he should have given me flowers. This flower basket looks like a wreath, it's obviously cursing me. Also, look at the signature, it says Chin clan couple. Isn't he trying to piss me off? Forget it. Throw it away, you damned woman. Song Yisher kicked the flower basket away. Lady Song had no choice but to ask the nurse to take it away. Song Yisher saw that Chin Chu wouldn't come, so she reluctantly left the hospital and went home to recuperate. Another week passed in the blink of an eye. On this day, Song Yisher officially recovered from her illness. In order to curry favor with the mayor's daughter, all the socialites and heirs in the industry held a private banquet. To celebrate, the mayor and his daughter threw her a private party. Huasiqian was also invited. He drove his Rolls-Royce Phantom to the private room on the top floor of Seductive Fox. There were more than 30 people inside, both men and women. The smell of cigarettes was very strong in the private room. Some people were singing, some were drinking, and some were playing finger-guessing games. The main character, Song Yisher, was wearing a white strapless dress and sitting in the middle of the sofa. He didn't seem to be in a good mood. Hi, Miss Song. Young Master Hua. Song Yisher raised her head and nodded. Congratulations on your discharge. Huasiqian raised a glass of wine. Thank you. The two of them gently clinked their glasses before downing the contents in one go. Then Huasiqian sat on the other side and started to joke around with the socialites. Song Yisher, on the other hand, was surrounded by a few playboys who were fawning over her. Sure, do you want to go to the Maldives? I'll treat you to a vacation, a rich second-generation heir said with a smile. Not interested. Song Yisher coldly refused. What kind of joke was this? Wasn't the Maldives where Huamin and Chin Chu went on their honeymoon? She never planned on going there again. Miss Song, I'm going out to sea on a cruise tomorrow. Let's go together and enjoy the sea breeze. I'm sorry, I haven't fully recovered yet. I can't enjoy the sea breeze. Song Yisher continued to refuse. Little sister Shirshir, I heard that there's a beautiful jade hairpin from the Han Dynasty at the auction next week. I want to buy it for you. Can you come with me? I'm sorry, I don't like antiques. Song Yisher's arrogance made most of the playboys turn her down. Thus, everyone stopped crowding around her. Just then Huasiqian walked out of the crowd and sat down beside Song Yisher. I heard that you were hospitalized because you were racing with my little sister. Why are you asking the obvious? You did it on purpose, didn't you? Song Yisher coldly looked at Huasiqian. But I know you like Qinchu. To be honest, I don't like Qinchu being with my little sister either. I want to break them up too. Upon hearing what Huasiqian said, Song Yisher froze for a second. Then she asked in surprise, What do you mean? Maybe we can work together. I think, after all, there's strength in numbers. Work together. Song Yisher was surprised by Huasiqian's suggestion. Chapter 12:16. After all, there's strength in numbers. There's a limit to what you can do alone. But why should I believe you? How do I know that you're not on Huamin's side and that you're trying to set me up? Song Yisher was very smart. She obviously didn't believe Huasiqian's words. I believe that you're a smart person and can analyze the situation yourself. First of all, Huamin and I aren't related by blood. She's an illegitimate daughter and I'm adopted. Second of all, the battle for the shares of the Hua Corporation has always been intense. I'm more interested in her shares, but I can't do anything about it. She's even working with Qinchu to deal with me, which makes me very unhappy. Third of all, I don't like Qinchu. Whatever he wants, I feel uncomfortable. So, I'd rather destroy Huamin than let her be by Qinchu's side. Basically, if they're doing well, I feel uncomfortable. After Huasiqian said this, Song Yisher looked at him suspiciously. The two of them didn't speak for a long time. In the end, Song Yisher couldn't hold it in anymore and asked, Do you have any good ideas? I do have an idea. What is it? Song Yisher asked anxiously. Huasiqian looked around and said in a low voice, Miss Song, there are too many people here, so it's not convenient. How about this? I'll drive you back after this and we'll talk in the car. Song Yisher thought for a moment, hesitated for a few seconds and finally nodded. Half an hour later, Song Yisher got impatient and announced the end of the party. Then she refused to be escorted by her friends and got into Huasiqian's car. Can you tell me now? What is it? Song Yisher really wanted to separate Qinchu and Huasiqian, so she couldn't wait. Huasiqian smiled, not in a hurry to answer. Instead, he took out a bottle of mineral water and handed it to Song Yisher. Don't worry, we have plenty of time. Come drink some water first. I'm not thirsty, thank you. Song Yisher pushed the bottle of mineral water away. He was actually very cautious. She would not casually drink something that was given to her by others. Huasiqian smiled. Then he opened the bottle of mineral water and gulped it down. Song Yisher looked at him with a complicated expression. As he screwed the cap back on, he said, Actually, the key to unraveling them is really you. We need you to complete this plan. What's the plan? Tell me about it. Song Yisher made up her mind. Huasiqian had a perfect plan. Otherwise, she wouldn't be wasting her breath here with him. My plan is very complicated. I plan to tell you slowly. Just then, Huasiqian turned on the heater in the car. Song Yisher smelled a strange smell and sneezed twice in a row. What's that strange smell in your car? Song Yisher asked with a frown. Actually, just as Huasiqian said this, Song Yisher's vision went black and she fainted. I thought you were smart, but you're just a self-righteous idiot. Compared to Mion, you're overestimating yourself. Miss Song, have a good night's sleep. Tomorrow, you'll be surprised. After speaking, Huasiqian reached out his hand and flicked her cheek with a strange smile on his face. The next morning, Song Yisher slowly woke up. She suddenly thought of something and sat up with a whoosh. Her mind was still blank. Just then, the bathroom door opened and Huasiqian walked out. Good morning, Miss Song. Song Yisher was dumbfounded. She remembered that last night in Huasiqian's car, they were about to talk about a plan. Then she felt dizzy. Then she completely lost consciousness. Now she was sitting on the bed naked, and Huasiqian walked out of the bathroom. The two of them were in a hotel. At this thought, Song Yisher didn't dare to think any further. Huasiqian, how dare you trick me? Song Yisha was furious. Chapter 12:17. Song Yisha curled herself up in bed and refused to raise her head. Never in her wildest dreams did she think that she would be played by Huasiqian. Huasiqian walked over. Miss Song, you need to face reality. Song Yisha jumped up and tried to slap Huasiqian across the face. However, Huasiqian grabbed her wrist tightly. Since it was your first time, I'll forgive your rudeness. But don't do it again. I don't like rude women. After speaking, Huasiqian pushed Song Yisha onto the bed. Why did you do that? Song Yisha clenched her fists and glared at Huasiqian. She wanted to tear him into pieces. He had never felt so humiliated in his life before. What's there to explain? Huasiqian lit a cigarette and said nonchalantly. You're despicable and shameless. Didn't you say that you wanted to discuss the plan with me last night? If I didn't say that, would you have gotten in my car? Huasiqian smiled. Song Yisha was furious. Why did you do that? Did I ever offend you? Look at what you're saying. I only slept with you. How is that offending you? Miss Song, you're beautiful and have a good family background. You have no lack of suitors. I've been in love with you for a long time. It's just that my methods are a little more direct. Bastard, how dare you do this to me? Aren't you afraid that I'll tell my dad and kill you? Song Yisha pointed at Huasiqian and threatened him. You're welcome to kill me. Huasiqian spread his hands. He didn't seem to care. I'm going to tell my dad that you drugged me. That's rape, do you know that? Go ahead. It's best if you talk to your dad about whether or not you want to marry me. What nonsense are you talking about? Who wants to marry you? Why don't you take a look at yourself? You're just an adopted son, a dog. Why should I marry you? Fremon. Anyway, just wait to be caught. After speaking, Song Yisha hurriedly grabbed her clothes, put them on, and left in a hurry. She walked out of the hotel, still thinking that everything was a dream. Huasiqian didn't seem like a man who was interested in her. Why would he do something like this? Wasn't he afraid of offending her dad? How dare he? Song hailed a taxi and went to the Song's house. Mrs. Song was also surprised to see her like this. Trisha, what's wrong? Why didn't you come home last night? Mrs. Song was extremely worried when she saw her daughter return with disheveled hair and dirty face. Mom, I'll go upstairs to take a shower and change my clothes first. Song Yisha forced herself to calm down. She went upstairs to take a shower and changed into a clean set of clothes. She carefully reorganized the events of last night. The more she thought about it, the more she felt like it was a trap. Huasiqian purposely teamed up with her, tricked her into the car and drugged her. At first she didn't even drink the water Huasiqian handed her because she was wary of him. But later on she smelled a strange smell in the car and then lost consciousness. Huasiqian took her to the hotel and then, what happened this morning? So Huasiqian never wanted to deal with Huamin. They were all bait. But what was her purpose in doing so? Was it just to sleep with her? The strange thing was Song Yisha didn't feel uncomfortable. It didn't seem like she was violated last night. After all, she was sure of that. But it didn't make sense. If he didn't violate her, then why did he take her to a hotel to spend the night? At this thought, Song Yisha rushed downstairs. Sure. Lady Song walked up to her. Mom, I'm going out for a bit. I'll talk to you later. Chapter 12:18. Song Yisha put on her sunglasses and drove straight to the OB/GYN department of the first hospital. After the results came out, her suspicions were confirmed. There were no traces of drugs and she didn't find any condoms at the hotel. Therefore, Huasiqian didn't touch her at all. What was he trying to do? Just as she was thinking, Song Yisha's phone rang. She picked it up impatiently. Hello? Give it a try. Have you seen the news? What news? Song Yisha frowned slightly. You probably don't know yet. I'll send you a link, take a look. Then her best friend hung up. Song Yisha received a link on WeChat. She clicked on it and was completely dumbfounded. The title was eye-catching. Socialite's daughter and son's relationship is suspected, and they spent the night together at a hotel. The first photo was of Huasiqian carrying her into a hotel. The second photo was of the two of them in bed. The so-called bed photo was actually a photo of their faces touching each other when they were asleep. It was obvious that they posed for the photo. The third photo was of her sneaking out of the hotel this morning. With these 3 photos, her relationship with Hu Xiqian was basically confirmed. Even though she knew that they didn't actually have sex, outsiders wouldn't look at these photos, they would only look at the photos. Damn it. Hu Xiqian. Song Yisher clenched her fists tightly. She bit her lips so hard that they turned white. The person who leaked the photos must have been Hu Xiqian himself because the second photo was so close to her, so it must have been him. She picked up her phone and dialed a number. What? You miss my mom already? Hu Xiqian was still smiling proudly. Hu Xiqian, what do you want? Song Yisher gritted her teeth and asked word by word. Marry me. I like you so much and we even slept together. I have to be responsible for you. Who wants to marry you? Who wants you to take responsibility for her? You better delete the photos immediately. I'm really sorry. The news has already spread. I guess everyone knows about it now. It's useless to mend the pen after the sheep are lost. I have no enmity with you. Why do you want to harm me? Song Yisher was about to explode from anger. I'm not harming you. I just want to marry you. There are so many women. Why me? Because your father is the mayor. Hu Xiqian was realistic. After hearing this, Song Yisher was so angry that she wanted to swear. She hung up the phone with a bang. When he returned to the Song family, his entire face was dark. Sure, you're finally back. What's going on with the news? Your dad just called me to ask about it. I don't know either. Your dad is furious. Mom, I was set up. Set up? Yeah. Hu Xiqian set me up. There's nothing going on between us. He wants a father-in-law like my dad. That's why he set me up. I was too naive. I actually believed him and got into his car. He was the one who leaked the photos in the news. Then, what should we do now? When is Dad coming back? The day after tomorrow. He's in a meeting in Jing City. Lady Song was also very anxious. Oh no, what should we do? Song Yisher was also panicking. How was she going to deal with this crisis when her dad wasn't home? Most importantly, everything happened so suddenly that she was caught off guard. She never thought that Hu Xiqian would do something to her. Chapter 12-19. Song Yisher originally wanted to sue Hu Xiqian for violating her and claiming that she was drugged and raped. However, those were all words she said out of anger. After she calmed down, she realized that she couldn't say those words. Putting everything else aside, if her father's identity was exposed, how would she survive in the future? Plus, she was a socialite. If news of her being raped were exposed, how would she get married in the future? Not to mention competing with Qin Chu. Reputation was too important. If this was exposed, it would be the biggest scandal in Sea City. The mayor's daughter was raped. Wouldn't that be a joke? Hu Xiqian probably knew that she didn't dare to call the police or bite back. That was probably why he was so ostentatious. Song Yisher wasn't satisfied, so she called Hu Xiqian again. Baby sure, I'm in a meeting. He purposely said in front of all the board of directors. Hu Xiqian, you just want to use my father's power to help you expand your territory. How about this? If you have any requests, I'll ask my father to help you. However, you have to release a joint statement with me to prove that we were framed and that the photos were photoshopped. Sure, are you kidding me? The photos are real, how could they be photoshopped? Hu Xiqian laughed. Hu Xiqian, is there no room for negotiation? Of course, let's get married. Fuck you, get married, you idiot. This was the first time in Song Yisher's life that she cursed. Hu Xiqian really forced her into a corner. She wanted to kill him to vent her anger. Faced with Song Yisher's curses, Hu Xiqian smiled slightly. Baby, stop messing around, I'm in a meeting. See you later. In front of outsiders, everyone thought that Hu Xiqian and Song Yisher were in a relationship. Even their friends who had hung out with them that night thought that the two of them had gotten drunk and gotten together. Song Yisher's phone was bombarded with messages. There were media reporters, close friends, and some unrelated people. She was about to go crazy from anger. At this moment, she thought of someone who might be able to save her. GK headquarters, Miss Song, our boss is having a meeting. It's okay, I'll wait here. Yang really didn't like Song Yisher now because she knew that their boss was married. Yet she still wanted to fight with a young lady over him. Most importantly, she was a troublemaker, always finding fault with Hu Min. Fortunately, a young lady was more open-minded and didn't want to lower herself to her level. Sometimes Yang thought that a young lady was actually quite tired. She had to be on guard against all kinds of vixens every day, including Jiang Linyue and Song Yisher. He was even on guard against his cousin who came from the countryside. What Yang didn't know was that his boss was even more tired. He had to be on guard against Su Yu Huasiqian, and even an award-winning actor from out of town. He had to constantly worry about his wife being flirted with. That was enough to worry about. That was why it wasn't easy to live at the top of the pyramid, men and women alike. Song Yisher was determined to not leave until she saw Qin Chu. Qin Chu waited for 40 minutes until it was almost noon before the meeting with the executives came to an end. As soon as he returned to his office, he saw Song Yisher sitting there. "Qin Chu, you're back." Song Yisher immediately stood up. Qin Chu turned around and glanced at Yang with a murderous look in his eyes. "Boss, I tried to talk to Miss Song, but she refused to leave. She said she had something urgent to talk to you about." Yang said innocently, "You're tuning in to the Biao's Wuxiao Chronicles YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.